chodesh tov umevorach mishenechnas Adar marvim besimcha. And I was telling Abigail she has to come every week because listen, I don't see you every week. It's anyways, bruchot habaot, welcome, and it's my great honor to have Abigail with us today. And I want to invite you to start.
Thank you.
And share with us your beautiful work.
Wow. Hi. My first time speaking, so I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited. So the theme that I'm going to talk about today is using your insecurities or your weaknesses as a tool to boost your confidence and your self-esteem. And personally, this is something that I really struggle with. It's not like something that I've completely mastered. And I think everyone struggles with it. I think it's something everyone's born with weaknesses and insecurities. Oh, did it start? Okay. Does everyone hear me?
Everybody
yeah?
Here, sir?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think this is something that it's universal. There's no one that's completely confident with who they are. And we all put up these walls when we're out in the world and we're at events and we're with our friends, and we don't want anyone to really see it. We don't want to show that part of ourselves. And most of all, we don't want to show it to ourselves either. It's hard for us to even face our, okay, it's better. Now I can really hear my voice. It's hard for us to even face our own weaknesses and our insecurities. It's hard. We feel so ashamed of it, and we don't want to look in the mirror and see that part of ourselves. So we just avoid it, and we put up walls within ourselves too. And I also want to use the theme of this month going into Adar, which is the month of happiness and simcha, and Purim's coming up, and even more so this year we have 2 Adars. And so this year it's an extra thing, and we really Hashem's telling us this is the ultimate happiness you need to feel is this time of year during Adar. And you have to invite everyone over to your house and host a huge party and drink and give mishalach manah. That's our expectation of this month. And me personally, it's very hard, especially February, January, February. Every year I always feel I just want to be cooped up in my apartment, not really go out. I'm very unmotivated. I don't feel good about myself. It's always a really big struggle every year, this time of year. So why is he putting this theme of Adar at this time of year when it's the darkest outside and the gloomiest, and it's always raining and snowing? So I also want to point out that you're not supposed to feel 100% confident all the time. It's okay to not feel that way. You're not supposed to. It's very normal, especially in this world we live in. There's Instagram and Facebook, and everyone's just telling you need to be perfect, you need to be okay. You can't show your weaknesses, you can't. And even in this community, we live in the most amazing community. I really wouldn't be who I am today if I wasn't part of it. And I'm so thankful that it really guided me in the right direction. And I'm really so thankful that I'm part of this. But at the same time, it really comes with its pressures, and everyone I speak to, they struggle with it. Being single, newly engaged, newlywed, having a baby, it gets really, really hard. So if you're not aware of your weaknesses and your strengths, it's going to be even more so hard to go through those struggles. So how do we strengthen ourselves? What does that mean to use something we're so ashamed of? We don't even want to acknowledge ourselves and use that as a tool to bring us to our highest confidence. So Hashem's telling us this, that's what he's telling us this month. When it's the darkest outside, yeah, be your happiest. So the darkest part of who you are that you don't want anyone to see, that's the key to being your strongest self. That's the key to making that insecurity into the thing that's going to give you your most confidence. But it's going to take a lot of work. It takes a lot of internal work. And we also just can't glue ourselves to these weaknesses and to these insecurities and let it define us. People are born with it. You're born with the trait of anger. You're born with being impulsive, and you just can't control what you say. It just comes out of your mouth. Or even throughout your life, you go through experiences, you go through traumas, you go through scars, and you feel scarred and you feel you can't move on from it. This is just who I am, and I can't let go of it. But but it takes work. Like you need to look at your weaknesses and be real with yourself and acknowledge it. So the moment you acknowledge your weakness, and even like sitting down with a pen and paper and like writing what you feel it is you need to work on, or like a scar you've had or a trauma you've had, you need to write it out. Write it out. And the moment you start doing that, you're already growing. You're already like, because you're acknowledging it. You're not ashamed of it anymore. You're not scared of it anymore. You're approaching it. You're facing it. And you're going to say, okay, how am I going to transform this? Let's talk a little bit about even like the trait of jealousy. People, like, it's very hard for people to admit to themselves. Like people do, like, it's hard for me to be happy when it's hard for me to be happy for others when I like see them like being successful or having a certain article of clothing or a bag or something. And it's like, we feel like really bad. Like, why do I feel like this? Like, I want to be jealous of her. Like, I want to be happy for everyone. So using that trait, okay, if I'm jealous or I'm not feeling happy for other people, it means I'm not happy with what I have. It means I'm not happy with all the blessings that Hashem gave me. So I need to look at my life now and move forward and okay, pay attention to everything Hashem gave me. Look at all the blessings I have. And then you'll get to a point where you'll feel so like grateful and confident about your life that when you see those other people, you're not gonna like get jealous of them anymore. You're gonna feel happy for them because you're gonna be so okay with your life. You're gonna be focusing on all the good things about your life. It's not gonna be something that's gonna like stop you from being happy. You're gonna be happy. So also with the emotional baggage we carry with ourselves, I want to talk about that, like I said before, like something you're going through, a struggle you have, or a scar you've had when you were a kid, whatever. And it's like, this is because this happened to me, like, this is how I am. So I want to use a personal example. And it's like very basic. It's not like so deep, but I think it gives over the message. And it was really like a big insecurity, like school, like, and I let it like get into like every other aspect of my life. And it was really, really, really hard. And I would always tell, like, I would vent to my husband and like my friends, like, oh, like, because when I was a kid, I had all these learning disabilities and I never excelled. And then my teachers traumatized me because they would just shame me. And then like, by the time I got to high school, I didn't want to face failure anymore. So I stopped trying. And now I don't have any of the tools to do well. And I feel like I'm not smart in anything anymore. It's so hard. And then, so like, I was going back to school and one day I was feeling like really down. My husband was like, what's wrong? What happened? And I was like, oh, like, it's just not fair. This happened to me. It's not fair. Like, I was given this struggle. Like, everyone else can just do well in school except for me. It's really not fair. And then I started like sobbing about like my whatever, like when I was a kid, blah, blah. And he was like, he looked at me and he was like, you just stop. He was like, I've heard this story from you like 100 times. He was like, cut it off. You need to cut this story off and move on. Like, you're just using it as an excuse to not excel in things you want to excel in. It's very simple. Like, just do well in school. Show up to your classes and study. Like, why are you attaching all this emotional baggage? Like, enough, cut it out. And I could have responded like, I just want you to comfort me. Like, instead I was like, and I wanted him to comfort me, but I was like, you know what, he's right. Like, I really use this as an excuse for everything. Like, for so many other things in my life too, I use this insecurity. Like, no, like, I just don't want to fail. I'm scared to face it. So I went back to school and then I was really trying hard. I wasn't like a straight A student, but I was really trying. And then 1 week my classes went on Zoom. So we like spontaneously decided to go to California. And there was like one day of the trip where the weather was amazing and we could go surfing. So I was like, okay, I'm booking surfing. This is so fun. I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And then in my head, I was like, Maddie, like, you have a research paper to do. Like, you're gonna fail if you don't do it by today. And then I was like, Aaron, like, I had a research paper to do. Like, I can't go to sorry, you don't need to, okay, we won't go surfing today, like, do your essay today. So I sat down and I literally spent, like, it was like a 10-page paper. I wrote like 3 pages of it already. And for 6 hours, my fingers were going, like, it was pouring out of me. I was like, oh my God, like, I'm a genius. Like, this essay is sick. Like, I was so confident. I was like, yes, like, my teacher's gonna be so amazed with me. I'm so excited. And then whatever, I'm so proud of myself. Like, I would never have given up a day of like fun to do homework. Like, that's not me at all. And I was so proud of myself. Like, wow, like it was worth it. Like, I'm happy I didn't go. And I handed in my essay. And then the next week I go to school. My professor is like, can you stay after class for a little bit? Like, I have something to talk about. And I was like, oh my God, like, it was so good. He probably thinks like I cheated. Like, oh my God. Like, I was like, whoa, like Abby. And then like, so I stay after class and he's like, you completely checked out of this class. He was like, well, what is this essay you handed in? He was like, this is like not only an over in class, like, what is this? Like, and you don't care. He's like, I see it. He was like, really like giving it to me. And it was hard because like, that was me putting in my best effort. And then I went home that day, and like a year ago, if that happened to me, I probably have been like, I'm dropping out. I'm not doing this anymore. I just tried so hard and this is happening. Like, what the heck? Like, and he's telling me he doesn't think I'm trying. Like, huh? Like, I really would have like dropped out of school. Like, I really, like, I know I would have. But that day I went home and I was like, you know what? Like, okay, obviously I need to try harder. Like, I need to be practical. I need to try harder. I'm going to start meetings and, you know, like work harder. But I was like, I don't really care that it's not an A+ student. Like, I'm proud of myself. Like, this is, look at how far I've come. Like, I would have never given up a day of fun to write this essay. I worked so hard on it and I was just so proud of myself. So the point is, like, you can't rely on other people to give you approval. Like, yeah, you got an A+, like, yeah, you're working so hard. Like how far, like, no one's gonna see that. No one sees the internal work that you're doing in yourself. And it takes really hard work. Like, people work so hard to become a lawyer, to become a doctor, to be an amazing mom, an amazing wife. And these are very important things, but if you don't channel that energy of hard work into your personality and your character traits, you're never going to excel in those other things. Like, if someone has a trait of anger and they're becoming a doctor or whatever, they want to be an amazing mom and they're working so hard on their children, they don't work on that trait of anger, it's going to come out, that trait of anger is going to come out in their employees, on their patients, in their marriage, on their children. It's going to affect everything else. So that's where it comes first. It comes first, the hard work in your personality, on your character traits. And also, like, when I went home that day from school, that was a moment where I realized, like, this is becoming something that's giving me confidence now, because I feel good. Even though I didn't get an A+, I don't care. Like, look at how far I came. Like, I was so happy still, you know, I was still so happy. And now I'm graduating, and like, I really never thought I would graduate college. Sorry. And you know, it's a really, even to other people, it's not a big accomplishment. Like, the point is, it is to me, you know, and no one else is going to see those accomplishments that like you've made for yourselves. So focus on that. And I want to end off on just like a couple of things, because I know I like bopped around everywhere. So I want to end off with one, acknowledge that this weakness is the key to becoming your biggest strength. It's not something to be ashamed of. Approach it, look at it. How can this make me grow? 2, you're going to need to work hard. Nothing is going to be fixed overnight. No one's going to come with the magic wand and fix your problems. It needs to come from you. You need to work hard on it. 3, you need to surround yourself with supportive people who are going to be there for you. 4, you need to acknowledge your achievements and be your biggest fan. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much. This was really amazing. I want to thank you. We're really moving here with tools to work on so many things that we all need to work on. And I remember our deep conversations before you went to Israel.
Yeah,
and how I know Abigail is a girl that has always have these dreams, or this looking forward on making a better future for herself and working on yourself. You are really a role model for all of us. Thank you so much. And the most beautiful thing when what I love is looking at the moms here, at Esther and Raquel. Your faces were really beautiful. So the time is 10 to 11. So I think by 1 p.m. you're going to be out. No, it's okay if I finish by 11:30. And please, if anybody has plans to leave earlier, don't feel bad, you can leave. It's all okay. We are a little bit later than usual. it's very exciting. It's very exciting to see how everybody is coming to celebrate Rosh Chodesh with us. And the subject that I chose is the gift of giving. Since this class is usually the Parashat of the week, and our Parashat is Parashat Teruma. Teruma means contribution. We are in the middle of the book of Shemot. After Bnei Israel have been taken out of Egypt, Akadosh Baruch Hu has done everything for us. Opened the sea, makot to the Egyptians, throwing us the manna from heaven, guiding us through the desert with a cloud and with a column of fire. We are thirsty, water comes from the rock. We are hungry, we get the man. We don't know where to go. Our navigation system, a divine navigation system, is working for us. Everything is given to us. Something like a newborn, when a baby is born. What is the reality of this baby? A baby feels and lives his life as he is the center of the world. Hakol magia li. I'm entitled to everything. I'm hungry, food comes. I'm thirsty, I'm dirty, they change me. Everything I need is done for me. This is the reality of a baby. Now, what is maturity? What does it mean to mature? Maturity means that slowly, you understand that you need to do things for yourself, that not everything needs to be done for you. The problem is, if you get to an age of 50 or 60 years old, and you still think that everything revolves around you, that everything you want, you just say, and it's coming to you, that you're entitled to receive everything you want. Because if that's the way you live your life, then you live in a mode of resentment, of misery. Why this is happening to me? Why I work and it didn't succeed? Why I was hungry and I didn't get the food? Why I worked and I didn't get this salary? It's all about I need to get, I need to have, I need to get. And what happens with the generation of Am Israel in the desert? At one point, we are very used that everything we need is given to us by Hashem. But what are the results? What happens? Complaints. We find complaint after complaint. We are nostalgic. We remember the food in Egypt. Why did you bring us here? Did you bring us to kill us? There's not enough graves in Egypt that you bring us to the desert. Complain and complain and complain. And when you complain, when you're not satisfied, it's because you don't recognize all what you have. When you are in a mood, in a state of mind, that it's all about, why didn't I get this? Why this didn't come out right? Why? It's because you really believe that things have to go your way, that this is life. That life is about, I need something, I need to get that. I want something, I need to get that. So there is in our parasha, in the words of Rabbi Sachs, our parasha is a turning point on the relationship between Hashem and Am Israel. Hashem kind of realizes giving them and giving them and giving them and giving them is not exactly a very educational process for Am Israel. Far from recognizing, far from being thankful. Oh yeah. We were thankful once when we walked through the sea. We sang to Hashem, Shirat Hayam, we recognize, we thank, but very fast we forget about that. We forgot about this. So Akadosh Baruch Hu is saying, let's switch. Let's make a switch. Now, I'm not going to only give it to them. It's time for me to ask. That's why our parasha says, V'asuli mishkan v'shachati betocham. I'm going to ask from them to make a mishkan for me, to gather donations from everybody, to come and take from their pockets and give money, to take from their work and sew the curtains for the mishkan, to build a menorah, to build an ark for the luchot, to build lechem apanim. And during 40, for how long? How long are they going to be in the desert? How long is this Mishkan going to be? 40 years in the desert and 400 and plus more in the in Am Israel, in Eretz Israel, sorry. Now, if you look in the Torah, Sivan Rav Meir was saying in her class, she counted the psukim. The psukim that describe the creation of the world are 30-something. The psukim that describe the making of the Mishkan are in the hundreds. So much more description. Why? Because the creation of the world is for one purpose, for the purpose of us, of the man. And what man does with his life is what really matters in the Torah. That's why so much description in the Mishkan. These parashot that are actually kind of boring for us. You know, I am teaching Parashat for years. And every time that I get to this time, I say, now the Parashat of the Mishkan, Baruch Hashem for Purim, I switch to Megillat Esther. I don't have to spend so much time teaching about these technicalities, about how to build the Mishkan. But still, we can get so many lessons from this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching us such a valuable lesson. So yes, Hashem is telling us, it's not only about you receiving, it's you about giving. And my question to you is, does HaKadosh Baruch Hu need anything from us? What am I doing for Hashem? What am I giving to him? Does he need my Mishkan? Does he need me to build, to offer my gold, my money? Hashem does not need anything from us. So why? Why does it make us feel that we're giving? You know, every morning, actually twice a day at least, when you say the Shema, when we say the Shema, the first paragraph says, "Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha." What is this about? It's a mitzvah. We have a mitzvah. You shall love your God. Loving Hashem. How do I do that? How do I love Hashem? On the same sentence, we get the direction. You know how you love Hashem? B'chol levavecha. Yes, we need to put our heart. B'chol nafshecha. You need to be willing to really devote your life when you are alive, to give your life if it's needed. But also, ubechol meodecha. What does it mean, meodecha? With all your means, with all what you have. And how is that represented? How is that expressed whenever we perform mitzvot? You know, you are supposed to build a sukkah. You are making a mitzvah that Hashem commanded you to do. Spend your money, spend your time, invest with effort, make the most beautiful sukkah, decorate it, glorify Hashem through your mitzvot. You are about to buy a truck? Don't buy just whatever. What is the cheapest that you have? Where are the sales of the trucks? I'm going to go to the sample sales of the trucks. No, go to look for the most beautiful truck. I remember we have videos of my dad, Zichrono Livracha, when he bought the truck, the way he held it and looking at it and his face, wow, this is the one that I want. Because it was so important to him. When I'm about to serve Hashem, I want to make it with all my means, in the best way that I can. And again, why? Does Hashem need that from me? No. Because this is how you love. Love is a verb. To love is to give. In Hebrew, love is have, is give. You want to love? Give to the other person. I remember, I think it was in the book of Teila Abramov, I'm not sure, but she brings a beautiful metaphor. She says that this this girl that was just married for 1-2 years, she comes to her madrichat kala, to the person that taught her for the wedding. And she starts crying. She says, I made such a terrible mistake. I really feel we're fighting all the time. I don't love him. What will I do? What will I do? We just started our life. I don't feel I love him. So the madrichat kala doesn't get very stressed about it. She said, okay, here, take a cup of water, drink. So she listens. She says, okay, So for next week, I want you to come back with a list of the 10 things that you did for your husband. I said, no, you don't understand. I don't love him. I don't feel anything for him. She said, no, I know. I want you to come with a list of 10 things that you're going to do for your husband. What do you mean? Okay, the favorite food that he loves, the way you're going to greet him, a small gift that you're going to buy him, the compliments that you're going to express to him this week. But I don't. She says, don't you come next week. After a week, when she came back with the list, she said, wow, I think I was hormonal last week. I don't feel so much like that. She says, I know. But this is exactly what happens. When we do, and I'm not trying, and it's a very good advice for all of us, and I'm not doing it for the benefit of the husbands, I'm doing it for our benefit. Giving to the other is what makes me laugh. Rabbi Sachs brings on his article one beautiful example of, I don't remember his name, I wrote it to myself, of this, what is called in Israel, they call it the effect IKEA. IKEA, you pronounce it, how do you pronounce it? IKEA, in Israel you pronounce IKEA. What is the effect IKEA? Is that, here, his name is, I just wanted to say his name, Dan Ariely, a behavioral economist. He does a series of experiments and he called it the effect IKEA. They checked and they proved that people that bought from IKEA and they built their furniture, they were much more attached to that furniture than when you just bought. If you buy a bookshelf and you build it by yourself, it's much more painful for you whenever you have to get rid of it. When you do something, when you invest in something, you love it more. So this is the first thing that we see when HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asking from us to do for him, to build for him. Hashem is giving us that gift. I want you to be involved. In that way, you will learn to connect with me. That's how we build a relationship, by you giving me. Of course, Hashem is also giving us. By you giving me, by you being involved in the action, is going to be an amazing gift. You know, it's known how parents get to love an adopted child on the same level that you love a biological child, because you give. So the secret for love, the secret to improve a relationship is give. Now, I spoke about relationship between husband and wife. Of course, it goes into parents and children. You know, I brought the example of Am Israel in the desert, how entitled they became, how much they were expecting only to receive. But it goes for us with our children. The main problem on parenting, on children education today is entitlement. That our children, children hundreds of years ago were not treated well. They were abused. There was child labor. Parents would not give any explanations. Their feelings didn't matter. You do what you have to do only because I said so. So things have changed, but they have changed to the other extreme, too much to the other extreme. We just think that we live to serve them and to give them and to protect them, and they shouldn't lack anything because I didn't have so many opportunities. I want my children to have it all. So a mother on Sunday is a driver and a cook, and yes, what else do you need? And he's upset and he's bored. What am I going to do? He's bored. I need to take care that my children are not bored. Rabbi Mikox said something. I want my talmidim, my students, to stay away from sin, not only because they are afraid to commit a mistake. I want them to stay away from sin as a consequence from the fact that they are very busy. When you are busy doing good, it takes you away from doing bad. Is it clear? So give our children projects. And this is my second point. when you ask from somebody that you love to do something, to give you something, you are giving this person a gift. And I think that our most precious opportunity to make our children give and do and be productive is Shabbat. Why Shabbat? Because Shabbat presents so many opportunities, because in our busy weeks, perhaps you cannot ask from your children. They are busy, they have school, they have activities, they have homework. So there is not so much to ask. You can still find a way. But Shabbat is an amazing opportunity, because Shabbat, all of us need to prepare for Shabbat. We need to plan for Shabbat. You need to plan the meals, the shopping, etc. Make your children part of the preparation. Make them do, make them give. And I want to share with you, I think I never told you this story. And it's a story that we remember very often at home. And I think this is one of the most beautiful stories I have about guests that we have had at home. So we lived in Uruguay. At that time, Taylor was born. I don't know, she doesn't remember. So we had 6 children. And one person comes to my husband and tells him about this information that he got. He says, I hear that there is this old man that is in an old age home that is a Goyish place. It's not a Jewish place. I said, and he's forgotten there. I just found out he's Jewish. Nobody visits him. He doesn't have family. He doesn't have any kosher food. I don't think was even an issue there. They didn't think about that. We said, Rabbi, is there anything you can do? My husband listens, and he finds out that this old age home is around the corner from where we live, in the block. So he didn't tell me at that time, but Friday evening, when they come from Bet Knesset, he knocks he comes home and he tells me, give me a few minutes, I come soon. And then he goes with my 2 boys, Jacob and David, around the corner, and they go to the old age home, and he asks about this person, and he asked from the nurses there to take him with him to my house. So I am skipping some things because the first time it didn't work. At one point, I see my husband coming with my 2 children and 2 nurses bringing an old man. If I describe you this man, it was something, I am not exaggerating. It was like this, sitting in a wheelchair and without any expression, any movement. The nurses bring him here, leave it next to the table. And you know, my kids, little kids, were a little bit of, you know, they were afraid. What is this? But we start our Kabbalah Shabbat. We start singing. We said this, and suddenly, you know the movie Pinocchio, right? Geppetto. You see Pinocchio that starts getting light. Really, you start seeing. Suddenly, he opens his eyes. Then he brings his face up. And then he smiles. And then he starts moving. And this happens not one Shabbat, 2 Shabbatot, 3 Shabbatot, few Shabbatot. At one point, one day, we are singing Shalom Aleichem, and then he starts singing out loud Chazanut of Yom Kippur in an Ashkenazi accent. We were all in shock, like everybody was like silent, and he's like coming to a Jewish home and spending Shabbat with us gave this man life. And he was brought back to the memories of when he was young. I don't know if it was in Europe. I don't even know where it was. Some funny fact, he used to call my husband Ruben. He got confused. I don't know where he thought he was. Ruben. So my kids were asking my husband, when is Ruben coming, Dad? And they were so excited about it. But what do I want to tell you? Besides of the fact of what that man received by being in my house as a Jewish man, as being around family, as having a warm food, all what you know, all what you can get, being part of a family. I don't have any doubt we gave him a lot. But this is not what I care about. What really was an enormous lesson for us is how much he gave to us, how much our children got from this visit. So one day, I remember the nurses tell my husband, do you know Next week is his birthday. He's 100 years old. What? And my husband shared it with us, so my children immediately, we have to make him a birthday. You have no idea what was that birthday. The excitement that you could feel in my home. All my children preparing, the girls making dessert, the decorations, the songs that they made for him, the poems, I don't know what he understood. But the activity that went on at my home during that week and what that Shabbat meant for us, it's something that they don't forget it. Ask any of my children, not besides Taylor. And Shmuel, I don't know if he remembers, but for sure he heard the stories. Ask them about Mr. Rubinstein. Mr. Rubinstein, or Ruben, as he used to call my husband. So this was an amazing experience. Why do I tell you this? I tell you this because we don't realize that the best gift we can give our children is allowing him, creating for them opportunities to give, to do for others, to create. When you, and for ourselves, you know, if you feel down, if you feel depressed, if you feel like there is not so much meaning to my life, what did I do yesterday? What do I do today? What I'm gonna do today? Why do I wake up in the morning? What is the plan of today? Believe me, give yourself the gift of giving. Try to see. For sure, there is so much that we can do for others, for people that have less than us. And of course, and everybody knows that, I don't refer to the material way of giving, that is very important as well. Actually, our Parashat is about giving. It's material things, but it's doing for others, it's listening to somebody, it's going to visit somebody, it's giving a call, just giving a call, showing that you care, being interested, praying for somebody that is not feeling well. Instead of my tefillah being a center of ha'ani, focus on the ani, which means me, focus on me, oh poor me, how much I need, how much Hashem, please don't forget me, please give me this, please give me that. Pray for others. When we focus on giving, on caring for others, for sure, our life becomes much more meaningful. And last, I'm going to finish earlier what I said. You know, when you want to create unity, achdut, in a community, inside your home, among your children, they're fighting the whole day, you don't know what to do anymore, they're going to kill each other. Between you and your friends, in your dore, in whatever reunion, whatever group of people, there is nothing better than a project of activity, of action, of doing. And I saw Daphne, and I told them I'm going to mention you. No, I will tell you why. Daphne tried to do something beautiful. She tried to activate the youth in our community, the teenagers, in a level of raising awareness to do for others, to volunteer. Do you want to share with us what was that about? Just from your seat. From your seat, what did you want? What was it about? Tell us. She's not prepared, okay? I didn't tell her I'm going to ask from her, but yes.
Part of the Bitton, and we tried. Everybody knows that the public school has to do a community work for college. So we decided that we do a B'nai Chesed, and it's called B'nai Chesed. It's part of the Bitton. And it's gonna be all the kids in our community trying to help whoever needs help. Instead of doing it for schools, for people who non-Jewish or stuff like that, they're using our officers, our grandparents, our parents, They teach them how to use the phone, the computer. They take them to doctor appointments. They take them all the community services. They need the hours to fill up the timing for college. So at the end of the year, we give them a letter with all the hours and everything that they can use for college. That's it.
The idea is beautiful, but here is the problem. Once I approached Daphne with a request, I needed volunteers for ABC, whatever. And she tells me, I'm sorry to tell you, but I don't receive a lot of feedback. Like, a lot of kids came for the meeting, for the initial meeting, and they want to, but whenever it comes to tachlis, to the moment, to the action, when we need them, they're not there. So there is many reasons. For sure, it's difficult. Not everybody drives. They have full activities. Parents perhaps, but what I'm trying to share with you here, and I think it's a good place to begin with it, is what do we need to do? What do we need to do to arise the awareness of our children that they feel the importance of giving and doing for others? The level of depression and anxiety in teenagers is very high, especially in girls. So the best medicine, make them do for others, volunteer, help, being active. Why? Because first, if you're the whole day in Instagram and in Facebook and checking how poor, how miskena you are, or how miserable is your life, that you didn't get to go to Aruba and you didn't go to this vacation, and your friends are there having fun. So perhaps if you're exposed to a different family that they need you, then you're not going to feel so bad. You're going to say, yeah, thank you, Hashem. I'm so fortunate for all what I have. So first of all, it's good for them. But second, this is chesed, this is what we're teaching. But not only in words, it has to come into actions. To summarize, and I'm finishing here. In the Parashat, 3 messages that I want us to take with us today. First of all, Hashem doesn't need us. If Hashem is asking from us, it's for us. It's to teach us how to love. When you give, you love. Second, being busy, being active, doing for others, fills your life, gives you a sense of fulfillment. There is a mitzvah in tzedakah that even the poor person has a mitzvah to give to others. Why? Because giving is what gives you dignity, is what makes you feel good about yourself. So your situation is not the best, but there is always people that are in a worse situation than you. You can always do for others. You can always give for others. And the third message is creating unity. Your children are fighting at home. Tell them, okay, today we are preparing dinner together. Dinner is going to be ready by you. It's Haki, Rivka, the best calls that I got, one of my grandchildren, it's Haki, that he called me the day that he prepared dinner. His face, his smile, his feeling of, I did it. Which Shabbat, preparing the dessert, preparing the meal. This is what is going to make your children not thinking about fighting with each other and just feeling good. We are part of this family. We are building together. Sivan, and with this I finish. Sivan Rab brought a very interesting anecdote. She said that last week or last month, Chabad had their annual reunion of shlichim, of shlichot. So they do it in Zoom. So the women speak about their experiences, the men about their experiences. And this year they did also about the children. And the person that was the MC was saying, I want us all to really recognize all these children that live in these remote places in the world, how much sacrifice they do, how much they give, and their life is not easy. So everybody was applauding. So there is a rabbi, of course, I have the names in my notes, I don't remember. There is a rabbi in this place in China that he tells, okay, so he brings he tells her, I want to share with you. I was watching the event with my daughters, and my daughters turned to me and they say, Dad, we need to do something. There are children that they really are going through many sacrifices. Their life is difficult in the Chabad families in the world. And he says, my daughters didn't realize that they were talking about them. They live in this place in Chabad. They don't have kasher. They don't have ice cream. They don't have hamburgers. They don't have friends. They homeschool. It's all at home. But they are so happy with their life. They have such a feeling of meaning life, of doing for others, that they didn't even think that anybody could say that their life is full of sacrifices. Let's give ourselves and our children the gift of giving. Thank you so much.